if you're a blues player and you spend most of the time you improvise in this position, you are missing out on some of the tastiest blues licks ever. And that's because those blues licks are not found here, but they are found there. Hey, my name is David Wallimann. Welcome back to this channel, which is all about helping you express yourself on the guitar a little bit better. And we do this through various concepts that I've learned in my 30+ years of teaching guitar professionally. Now, if you watch this video till the end, your blues phrasing is going to be way better than it is now. I guarantee it. However, once you're done, I highly suggest you check the description in this video for a free blues workshop in which I'm going to teach you everything that I don't have time to teach you in this short video. We're going to learn about targeting the right notes, phrasing, playing from the heart. I put everything in this training and it's completely free. But do it after watching this one because this right here is really going to help you. So let's say that we are going to play a blues in A. Backing track here, typical 1-4-5 in A. A minor pentatonic scale is going to work. And what we typically use is that first position, this one right here. Nothing wrong with it. There's a lot of cool licks that you can find. Very comfortable under the fingers. And that first position is typically used because it starts with the root. The first thing you see on the guitar, the low E string, A, 5th fret, you build your pentatonic scale from there. And that's why it's typically the first position we learn on the guitar. The first note we encounter is the root, makes it way easier. And that's also why we get stuck in it and people can hear it. Your solos start to sound really boring and redundant, expected, there's no surprises, and there's really no self-expression in it. Our fingers are just doing the work. So we're going to try to escape that box, that position, by learning the others. I'm going to share with you the 3 ways that have really helped me be comfortable all over the fretboard. The first one is to understand where the roots are. And for that, we're not going to look at all the roots. We're just going to look at 4 strategically chosen roots. The first one you already know. Let's say that we're in A. That root is found on the low E string. It's the 5th fret. If we're in G, that'll be the 3rd fret, and D, the 10th. But we are in A, 5th fret. The first position, from my perspective, when I'm looking at my guitar, if you are a right-handed player, the position is going to happen on the right side, towards the bridge. So that's the first position. The root is on the low E string. The rest of the position happens on the right side. There's another one. This one also has its root on the low E string, and it happens on the left side. Now at this point, don't worry about memorizing the positions. All I want you to worry about is where the root is and be aware that there are 2 positions from any given root. One of the positions happens on the right side towards the bridge of the guitar and the other one left side towards the neck on the guitar. Next, we're going to take that root and place it this time on the 5th string. That's going to be another visual reference point. So we have an A here on the 12th fret. The reason I chose the 12th fret instead of the open string is that from that root, we also are going to find 2 positions. One happening on the right side of the guitar, the other one on the left side. And if I took that open string, I can't go lower than 0. So from that 12th fret 5th string, I can place 2 positions. One happens on the right side and one on the left. Okay, now that we have these 2 visual reference points, one on the low E string, one on the 5th string, check this out. We're going to start with the one on the low E string. From that root, again, we have 2 positions, one happening on the right side, one on the left. Let's take a look at the one happening on the right side. You know that position already, most likely. 2 notes per strings, and we're just going to play the minor pentatonic scale in its first octave. It's going to be something like this. 5-8, 5-7, 5-7. Okay, so that from the root on the low E string is going to be that position. Let's take that root on the other visual reference point that we have, which is on the 12th fret. That position, index, pinky, index ring, happens on the right side of the root. It's the same exact position that we have right here on the 5th string. Index, pinky, index ring, index ring. Nice. Same exact thing. In the same way, if we take now the position that happens on the left side of my visual reference point, here is my reference point on the low E string, 5th fret. That position, I will start at 2 frets below, and we have something like this, frets 3, 5, 3, 5, 2, 5. That shape is the same exact shape we find from the next visual reference point on the 5th string, 12th fret. This is very helpful because it allows you to start to escape that first box of the pentatonic scale. You're no longer tied to that. At least you have somewhat of an idea of where these other positions are, knowing that the first octave of the scale that you're playing, this, by the way, is going to work with any system. We're working with a minor pentatonic scale, could work with any mode, it doesn't really matter. Really, we just have 2 shapes to memorize, one happening on the left side, one on the right side. And from 2 visual reference points, already, if I combine all of these micro shapes together, that starts to cover a wider area of the fretboard. Now we're going to start to be a little musical, but we're going to start with something that you are comfortable with. And that's the first position of the minor pentatonic scale. We're going to start escaping that pentatonic scale 1 string at a time. So that pentatonic scale, again, we're in A, first position, is part of a fuller system. Now we're going to add one of these surrounding notes to our bass pentatonic scale, the first position of the minor pentatonic scale, and we're gonna try to create new paths. So let's say that to our first position of the minor pentatonic scale, we're gonna add this note right here, which is on the 2nd string, 3rd fret. So now we have these options to start playing. Kind of an awkward position, especially if we're playing it like that, but we're going to start phrasing around that. We'll bring back the backing track, and I'm going to start phrasing the way that I usually do with that first position. And I'm going to try to slide in and out of that new note that we added. We're starting very simple, 1 note at a time. And the goal is to create something musical with that additional note. Now I'll pick that note on the left side, but you can also pick a note on the right side. The sky's the limit. You can maybe try to combine 2 notes at a time, and eventually you're going to learn how to create new paths so that it breaks the habit of your fingers always going to the same, the same licks and bends and things like that. Okay, if you're comfortable with the previous 2 steps, this is where everything kind of comes together. We're going to try to no longer see our fretboard as vertical slices, but we're going to try to see it as horizontal slices. So for that, we're going to start with an idea that you're comfortable with. Now here's the thing, that idea can't use too many strings. We'll take something like this. It's extracted from my first position of the minor pentatonic. It just uses 2 strings, the 3rd string and the 2nd string. And we're now going to translate this lick, no longer using fret numbers, but using the space of the note within the context of the scale. Okay, that requires a little bit of explanation. If we look at each of the positions of a pentatonic scale, we'll find that they all use 6 strings, and they also all have 2 notes per string. And we find that in the first position, 2 notes, 2 notes, 2 notes, 2 notes, 2 notes, 2 notes. Each of these notes can have a coordinate if you want. And the coordinate is going to be made of 2 things. It's going to be made of the string number. So for example, this lick starts with string number 3. Now that's not enough to know which note of the pentatonic scale we're using. We need to know if it's the left side note or the right side note from my perspective. In this case, it's going to be the right side note. So we're going to translate this into a system that you won't find anywhere else. It's just for the sake of this video, but we're going to translate this first note that we're bending into this 3R. 3 is for the string number 3, R, the right side of that position. So 3R within this context of A minor pentatonic scale in the first position would be the 3rd string, 7th fret, and I'm bending that. Followed by 2L, string number 2, note on the left side, and 2R, string number 2, note on the right side. Okay, so the formula, the descriptive formula, follow along please, is 3R, 2L, 2R. And that would be played like this within the first position. We're now going to use the same formula on the next position. So if we look at our full fretboard, here is the next position. Now we're going to apply that formula. So 3R within the second position, that's going to be on the 3rd string, 9th fret. I'm going to bend that. Now here's the thing, when I bend this note, it needs to reach the sound or the pitch of the next note within my pentatonic scale. So it's going to be a big bend like that. So that would be 3R, 2L, 2R. Okay, you got to work at this. It's not something that you can play automatically. It's okay to take your time. But now if I play these 2 licks one after the other, I have this, and then I have this. Then I'm going to apply that to the next position, and the next. It's not super smooth, it's not automatic, but of course it's not, because we're escaping the box that our fingers have been trapped for so long. Eventually, your fingers are going to remember those movements. And that's where things get a little icky, because once your fingers are comfortable, the whole problem starts over. Now you're comfortable not with just one position, but all the fretboard, but then your licks are very directed by your finger comfort. That needs to be fixed. So for that, you can check this out, because this full workshop is going to help you escape the comfort that your fingers have. It's going to teach you so much, so many more things. It's completely free. The link is right here. I hope you sign up. Check it out. I'll see you in the workshop.